When the short summer stretches over the land, snow fog, not only the earth but also the Arctic Ocean comes alive. Beneath the dark blue waters, a giant shadow silently moves northward. Although she is an excellent swimmer, this is not the place for a tiger. It is the blue whale, the greatest animal ever to live on Earth, embarking on an epic migration to find the food necessary to sustain its massive body. Adult blue whales can reach lengths of 30 m and weigh about 200 t, equivalent to the weight of 33 African elephants combined. Just its heart alone weighs 180 kilograms, large enough to allow a child to crawl through its main artery. However, to maintain its enormous body, the blue whale requires a massive amount of food. Throughout the summer, consuming an average of 4 t of plankton daily, equivalent to 40 million krill. For this reason, each year the blue whale travels thousands of kilometers from the warm waters of the south to the plankton-rich seas of the Arctic. Each spring, as the Arctic ice begins to melt, cold, nutrient-rich streams rise from the ocean floor, creating ideal conditions for an explosion of life. This is the moment the blue whale has awaited throughout the long winter. From the warmer waters of the Pacific or Indian Ocean, the blue whale begins its journey, crossing vast ocean expanses northward. Your trip can span from 10,000 to 12,000 kilometers, becoming one of the most significant migrations in the world. The longest in the animal kingdom. During this journey, relying on ocean currents and its extraordinary ability to navigate using sound waves. The powerful deep voice of the blue whales can travel up to 1,600 kilometers underwater, allowing them to communicate with other whales and navigate unfamiliar waters. As it approaches the opposite sea near the blue whale finds what it seeks, a feast of plankton. Small krill gathered into large swarms so dense that the water seems dyed orange-red. The blue whale dives deep, opening its vast mouth capable of engulfing up to 90 t of water and food in one go. With baleen nearly 1 m long, filtering the water and retaining millions of krill inside it. This process repeats for hours until its massive body has accumulated the necessary energy. Although the undisputed queen of the ocean, the blue whale does not escape the long journey and its immense food needs, making it deeply dependent on the balance of marine ecosystems. Climate change and overfishing have significantly reduced plankton populations in the Arctic, directly threatening the existence of this species. Beneath the ocean surface, the giant silhouette of the blue whale moves with the symphony of the sea. Meanwhile, on land, yellow tigers and brown bears hunt in the taiga forest of separate worlds but deeply connected. Both share a short summer and an unending struggle to survive. Only by understanding this connection can we truly protect our common home. As summer peaks and a magnificent show unfolds in the Arctic sky, thousands of snow geese fly in a V formation, flapping their wings to the rhythm of the sunlight. Each year these birds undertake a grand migration to the island. Grangel, a remote habitat in the Arctic Ocean where white geese breed and raise the next generation. The snow geese's journey is not easy, beginning their journey from the warm lands of North America, covering over 5,000 challenging kilometers from the Mississippi River plains to the Rocky Mountains, crossing icy seas and vast snow-covered fields. Hundreds of thousands of white geese each year choose Wrangel Island as their destination. This island provides them with a safe haven and abundant food sources in marshes and coastal vegetation. But this journey requires not only physical strength. Snow geese rely on their V formation to conserve energy. The formation leader creates an airstream, facilitating the flight of those behind. Thanks to this strategy, they can fly up to 1,600 kilometers without resting before stopping to feed and regain strength. Ahead of them, Wrangel Island. The green enough spreads out, decorated with summer flowers, while the waters of the marsh shine in the sunlight. Not only native geese, but also Greeks from the south meet here, with bright pink tones adding a splash of color to this scene. The white geese quickly choose their nesting sites, generally on high ground or near shallow waters. However, this place is not without dangers. Their greatest enemy, the Arctic fox, is waiting. The Arctic fox with snow-white fur is the main egg predator on Wrangel Island. Taking advantage of the geese slipping into nests to steal nutritious eggs, running through tall bushes and disappearing into the vastness. Unreachable. Near the shore, the males begin their elegant dance. These pink birds with long slender legs walk gracefully in shallow waters, tilting their heads down to filter plankton and small creatures from the muddy bottom, completing the idyllic summer picture on Wrangel Island. The brief summer not only brings the thaw of rivers, the blooming of vegetation, but also awakens a new threat. Massive swarms of insects, mosquitoes, gadflies, and other blood-sucking bugs appear in large numbers, turning lowlands into unbearable places. For the reindeer herd, summer becomes another battle, fighting against tiny yet relentless enemies. In a low valley beside the Lena River, a herd of more than 200 reindeer battles the tiny invaders. The reindeer move constantly, their tails wagging, ears flicking, and even running in circles, trying to drive away the insects. Only one way exists to escape this assault: seeking higher ground where cold air and strong winds hinder the existence of insects. The reindeer herd begins to ascend, adult males leading the group across slippery rocks and streams fed by the desert. The journey is perilous, especially for the youngest at the rear. A small reindeer totters on its slender legs, facing for the first time the arduous task of crossing a slope full of loose stones. Yet challenges come not only from the terrain. This is the land of gray wolves. Along with reindeer, deer and cattle must also stay alert for this fearsome predator. As the brief summer darkness begins to wane, a sense of urgency envelopes the Tigre forest. Cold winds carry the first signs of winter. Leaves change color, vibrant yellow and orange, but the landscape is only a veil hiding the fierce race for survival. There is little time left to accumulate energy before snow covers everything, turning this place into a cold and desolate land. In a clearing, a herd of deer feeds with dedication. Autumn provides them with a rich feast of ripe fruits on trees and finally fresh grass sprouting underfoot. The deer eat hastily, accumulating as much energy as possible. Daily, an adult deer should consume between 4 and 6 kilograms of food, focusing on energy-rich fruits like blueberries, raspberries, and nutrient-rich plants. Fat accumulated in their bodies will be a vital resource when a harsh winter arrives. But harmonious life is never easy. These brief feasts always come with dangers. Then tigers, gray wolves, and snow leopards closely watch this prey. The deer herd detects danger immediately. Adult males with their majestic antlers lead the way, clearing a path and leading the group's flight. The young with still weak legs run after their mothers amid the chaos. Before facing winter, nature sends a test, an unending choice. Only the strongest and best adapted will return to see the next chapter. After escaping persecution, the deer seek refuge in an open forest where they can rest and continue feeding to regain strength. The survival lesson remains with each member of the herd. Every careless moment could be the last. And when the first snowflakes begin to fall, the deer know that the harsh winter is approaching. The golden days of autumn are merely the prelude to an endless cycle of struggle to survive in the Tigre. In the gloom of the Tigre forest, a howl breaks the long, deep silence of the afternoon. It is the signal of the alpha wolf, a familiar but fearsome sound to the weak in the ecosystem. The gray wolf pack, consisting of up to 12 members, is ready for a major hunt. Winter is approaching and the time to accumulate energy is run out. For the pack, the difficult months ahead require more than the quick meals provided by small prey like hares or rodents. This time their target is larger, more dangerous, and a true challenge, a musk ox, their most formidable opponent. An adult wolf can consume up to 9 kilograms of meat in a single meal, enough to store energy for the coming days of hunger. But the feast never lasts long. At this time of year, any trace of a kill can attract scavengers like ravens and even brown bears. The pack moves deeper into the forest, searching for new prey to bolster their reserves. Winter will offer no respite. However, thanks to their cohesion, intelligence, and strong family instincts, the wolves are ready to face the toughest challenges that nature can impose upon them. Water bursts against the rocks and a river fed by melting ice, another life thrives in the final days of autumn. On the riverbank, a brown bear with soaked fur focuses all its attention on the water. Its eyes do not lose track of the salmon. The brown bear must make the most of this opportunity, with only weeks left before winter arrives, bringing temperatures dropping below -40 degrees Celsius, freezing all the rivers and turning them into deadly ribbons of ice. To survive 5 months of hibernation, it needs to increase its body weight by 21 to 30%, storing it as fat. Mother bears face even greater pressure, needing not only to support their own bodies but also to ensure milk production for their 2 cubs they treasure during the long winter. If she fails to accumulate enough energy, the risk that both she and her cubs will not survive the winter becomes a real threat. The polar bear also hastens its preparations for winter, much like the brown bear. The cold waters of the northern tundra have driven the last salmon southward, where the Tigre's rivers meet the lowlands. Although salmon is not a typical food source for polar bears, they sometimes take advantage of this opportunity. While one species prepares for a long sleep, the other continues an endless hunt. But despite their different strategies, both share the same goal: to outlast the relentless winter snow. In the taiga forest, the sun slowly sinks toward the horizon. This is no time for rest. With winter approaching rapidly, each night becomes a battle for survival, an unrelenting effort to gather enough food. Then the owl, a skilled predator of the shadows, is ready to begin its hunt. The vole, a highly sensitive creature, carefully digs through the snow in search of roots. Yet the owl has a special advantage: its asymmetrical ear system allows it to precisely locate prey even when it cannot see it. With a wingspan exceeding 1.5 meters, it glides through the air silently thanks to the unique structure of its feathers. A precise strike and sharp talons capture the vole, ending its life in a moment of absolute silence. But such a small catch is not enough. To survive the relentless winter, the owl must hunt 5 to 7 voles each day. These meals not only provide vital energy but also allow it to accumulate reserves for stormy days when hunting is practically impossible. Instead of consuming the prey immediately, the owl employs a smarter strategy, carrying the newly caught vole to a crevice in a nearby tree, carefully hiding it under bark rot or in shadows. These treasures will become an important food source during the harshest days of winter. As darkness envelopes the forest, the owl intensifies its activity. However, it is not the only hunter in these lands. Martens and wild foxes occasionally covet the owl's prey, adding another level of challenge to the nightly struggle for survival. The long cold nights, life and death intertwined in an endless cycle. Then winter arrived and the battle for survival officially began. The reindeer herds continued their relentless migration. Brown bears curled into their sluggish winter slumber. The tiger remained the greatest fear of all creatures. Everything was covered by a blanket of white snow in the relentless cold, where nature's strongest survivors faced two ruthless enemies: a changing environment and human greed. This was no longer the winter of old. The permafrost, which had existed for thousands of years, was now melting at an alarming rate. Temperatures had risen by an average of 2.5 degrees Kelvin over the past 50 years, twice the global average. On the ice, a polar bear moved cautiously, step by step. These days, the number of seals, its main food source, had declined. Every day this bear had to travel up to 30 kilometers just to find a small hole in the ice where a seal might appear. But thin ice was no ally. In just 2 decades, the polar bear population had declined by 40%, and this bear could be one of the next victims. In another corner of the Tigre, the green leafy lawns of the planet were disappearing. Vast forests were being mercilessly destroyed to make way for oil wells and gas mines. The roar of machinery broke the silence, leaving behind flattened, lifeless lands. A tiger walked silently. This had once been its territory, now reduced to dusty trails. Each day it had to travel farther and farther to find food and avoid humans. With its natural habitat reduced by 30% over the past 50 years, the tiger population had dwindled to only about 500 individuals in the wild. The roar that once echoed throughout the taiga forest was now a lament in the face of human uncertainty. Feathers displayed in the gloam of the black market, fangs and exotic animal skins fetched high prices. The price of a wolf could reach thousands of dollars. It was not only wolves at risk. Hundreds of musk oxen were also hunted for their horns and wool. Unprotected calves without the herd's defense became easy prey. Over 10,000 animals were captured and illegally traded from the region each year, pushing many species to the brink of extinction. Under a gray sky, a reindeer herd struggled to cross the swampy terrain altered by mining activities. The traditional migration routes had been severed by roads and modern infrastructure. The reindeer, once covering up to 5,000 kilometers a year, now faced increasing obstacles. In the past 20 years, their population had declined by more than 40%, from over 5 million to just over 3 million individuals. Like an arena where humans and nature confronted each other, climate change and human uncertainty not only devastated ecosystems but also reduced biodiversity, pushing many species to the edge of extinction. One day the stories of polar bears, tigers, and reindeer might become only memories, sad legends of a lost world. What do you think of this? Surely it is an unforgivable mistake and a tragedy. Every tiger's roar, every wolf's howl or bear's strike is the echo of the struggle for survival. And conservation efforts continue in silence, a race against time to save precious animal species. Siberia is not only the stage for survival battles between animals and an unchanging nature, but also a place where humans and nature seek harmony in the fight against extinction. In the Russian Far East, the Krunatsky Reserve serves as the first fortress, covering nearly 11,000 square kilometers. It is the final refuge for many rare species. Hundreds of tigers live here, species on the brink of extinction. Trap cameras installed along the trails have shown remarkable recovery. With only about 30 individuals in the mid-20th century, the tiger population in this area now exceeds 120 individuals. However, each tiger bears scars on its body, symbols of an ongoing battle against poaching and habitat loss. Further north, Wrangel Island stands as a natural fortress between the icy ocean and the continent. A reindeer herd with more than 6,000 individuals has found a safe haven here during their thousands of kilometers of migration. But Ringle Island is not entirely peaceful. Arctic foxes with their predatory instincts continually attack the weaker young. To aid, the reindeer conservationists have implemented natural radiation control systems to manage the Arctic fox population. Thanks to these efforts, the survival rate of the young has increased to 70%, a hopeful figure compared to under 50% recorded just a few years ago. In the northern seas, glaciers are melting at an unprecedented rate, but hope remains thanks to the Polar Bear Conservation Project led by WWF Russia. One of the greatest achievements has been the creation of the protected sea ice of Novaya Zemlya, covering over 80,000 square kilometers. This sanctuary allows polar bears to hunt seals and reproduce without human interference. Since its establishment in 2019, the polar bear population in the region has stabilized with over 1,200 individuals recorded in 2023. Amid great challenges, humanity continues to find inspiration in its faith. Christianity reminds us that the earth is a divine gift, and it is our duty to protect it, as it is said, "Rule over the earth and every living creature within it." Conservation efforts are not only a scientific responsibility but also a sacred obligation for all of us. Despite all its wildness and extreme resilience, nature still holds much to protect. New nature reserves, innovative conservation projects, and human perseverance will continue to write the story of magnificent survival on this planet. Let us act, for time waits for no one. The wonder of nature and the majesty of its rulers does not end here. Join us in the mission to protect the natural world. Share your impressions in the comments. Your words will be a source of inspiration to spread a positive message and save our ecosystems. Do not forget to like, subscribe to the channel, and activate the notification bell so you do not miss our upcoming magical adventures. If you want to explore more fascinating stories, continue to accompany us in these episodes. Costa Rica: mystical creatures in the magical forest. Patagonia, the last isolated ecosystem on Earth. When winter gives way to the first rays of spring, life begins to be reborn in. Ice melts bit by bit. The taiga trees that once stood silent in the frozen stillness begin again. Spring arrives slowly like an unexpected guest, but it brings the breath of life. Bird songs echo through the silence, a new beginning. And this is also the moment when the predators of the winter snow begin to return to the wild. The polar bear and her cubs remain in their den through the long winter. After months beneath the frozen earth, the mother slides down an icy slope. Perhaps to clean her fur, or simply for the pure joy of it. For the first time, the tiny cubs open their eyes to a vast, bright world. Beneath their feet, the snow is still white, cold, and slick. Crossing the icy slope is no easy task for their first steps. But hunger, and the desire to reunite with their mother, push them forward little by little. The path to adulthood for these cubs will stretch over 2 years, a time in which they will learn every skill needed to survive in this relentless land. The mother bear is an unyielding guardian. She will teach them to hunt, swim in frigid waters, and face danger. Throughout this time, she must keep moving, traveling hundreds of kilometers in search of food. Physical exhaustion cannot stop her. Because the instinct to protect her young is stronger than hunger. Even after not eating for 5 long months and losing half her body weight, the warm light of spring brings a sense of relief. But it also signals the start of a serious concern. Rising temperatures mean the sea ice, the only place she can hunt seals to feed her cubs, is melting fast. She must reach it before it vanishes entirely. Nature stirs with the emergence of the brown bear. Though smaller in size, the brown bear is fiercer than the polar bear, who, in many encounters, would rather retreat. In a deep ice cave at the Tigre's edge, where sunlight barely reaches, a brown bear begins to stir. With a massive body weighing between 250 and 350 kilograms, it is not hunted through the long winter. Now, with the thaw, the bear awakens, its body weakened and consumed by hunger. This is when its survival instincts scream louder. It needs food, and it needs it now. The brown bear emerges from its den. Snow melts beneath its paws, leaving deep prints in the damp earth. Its first destination, the falls and dams where salmon gather. This favored delicacy is always a priority. But the brown bear's menu is not limited to salmon. With a sense of smell over 2,100 times sharper than a human's, it can detect food up to 5 kilometers away. Near an oxygen-rich river, a scent drifts through the air. A herd of reindeer, buried by winter snow, now exposed. The bear charges forward, its steps growing surer and more determined. Not far off, other remains come into view with the rising sun, offering a feast full of energy. But the brown bear is not alone in discovering this source. From afar, a pack of gray wolves approaches, standing as tall as 3 meters on hind legs, with jaws that can deliver a 975 psi bite. The brown bear rolls the Tigre. Its speed, up to 56 kilometers per hour, makes it a threat even to adult deer or reindeer. Its claws, sharp and up to 10 centimeters long, are strong enough to tear through prey in seconds. A deep growl rumbles through the air. The gray wolves know this isn't worth the risk. The bear devours its meal quickly, restoring energy lost after months without nourishment. Fat and calories, just what it needs to regain strength and prepare for the hunts to come. As the brown bear retreats satisfied, vultures and ravens descend upon the leftovers. This is the cycle of nature. The strongest take the lion's share, but nothing ever goes to waste. Spring begins to awaken, but the struggle for survival never stops. Along the riverbanks, bears discover salmon fishing for the first time. With a simple motion, they lift small rocks near the rapids. searching for hidden salmon eggs beneath the sand. But to survive the next winter, they must learn a more critical skill: catching adult salmon in the streams. This is a vital lesson only their mother can teach them. Salmon fishing is not as simple as it seems. It demands precision, agility, and great patience to catch these swift fish. But fishing is not the only threat bears face. The mother and her cubs must also be wary of adult male bears. Large and aggressive, these males have no bond to the cubs. And will not hesitate to kill them if they cross paths. To protect them, the mother bear leads her cubs carefully, keeping to dense tree cover and avoiding open areas. Salmon are not only essential for bears, they connect the entire local ecosystem. Most brown bears eat only the belly and the salmon roe. The rest of the fish, when carried into the forest by the bear, nourishes the soil, feeding trees and plants all around. Across the vast, desolate tundra of Andalusia, the icy wind howls like the sighs of an unforgiving wilderness. As a herd of musk oxen slowly advances, the temperature keeps dropping. With their massive frames and thick coats, they resemble living boulders, moving across a foamy white landscape. Each one are key to survival. Musk oxen are not runners. They endure thanks to resilience and extraordinary adaptation. Their fur, a masterpiece of nature. trapping heat, even in the most brutal conditions. Beneath the outer hair lies Tigre. A downy wool 8 times warmer than sheep's, combined with a dense layer of fat, transforming the musk ox body. Into an impenetrable cold fortress. Even in heavy snowfall and freezing winds, the cold repels moisture and snow. Keeping them completely dry. Within the herd, the calves are always at the heart of protection, weighing only 10 to 15 kilograms at birth. They're easy prey. Yet the herd never abandons its weakest. And standing over 1.5 meters tall, form a tight circle. Placing the calves and frail females at the center. Their curved, powerful horns become deadly weapons. The gray wolves. Their legs constantly in motion, begin encircling the group. The lead wolf signals, splitting the pack into smaller units to flank the herd from all directions. But the oxen remain still. Hooves planted deep in snow. Eyes locked on their stalkers. When one wolf attempts to breach the circle, an adult bellows, lowering sharp horns directly at the intruder. Patience is the wolf's strongest asset, as they circle like shadows. Searching for a weak spot. Then, an opening appears. A dying calf sticks its head beyond the defense line. This is the moment the wolves have waited for. In the chaos, the calf is separated from the herd, running with all its might. Tiny legs battling thick snow. A massive shadow moves in. An adult ox, the calf's mother. Charges forward with strength and resolve. A fierce counterattack from these giants. Can inflict serious wounds. A wolf yelps in pain, startled, accepting defeat. Unable to overpower such a strong unit, retreat is the safest choice. The herd regroups around the trembling calf. Unity and strength of the collective have carried them through another trial, and the battle for survival as winter ends. Snow and lichen start to fade, and the herd continues its march. searching for food. An adult male tiger can reach up to 3.3 meters in length, weigh over 300 kilograms, and stand 1.1 meters tall at the shoulder. Its thick fur, golden orange with black stripes, not only camouflages it perfectly in dense forest, but also shields it from the harsh winter cold. During summer, its fur becomes lighter, allowing it to better cope with high temperatures. But what truly makes the tiger so fearsome is its astonishing muscle mass and powerful jaws. Capable of delivering a bite force up to 1,050 psi, strong enough to crush a prey's bones in a single attack. The tiger is not only powerful, but also intelligent and patient, as if divinely guided. A male's territory can span up to 1,000 square kilometers, including thick forests, gorges, and open lands. This vast domain is his kingdom, which he carefully monitors, marking it with urine and scratches on trees to warn intruders. As sunlight flickers through the treetops, a deer grazes gently in a quiet valley, weighing around 200 kilograms. It's the perfect target for a hungry tiger. But the deer is not alone. In this fight for survival, the tiger moves slowly, like a shadow, its glowing golden eyes locked on the prize, ready to strike at any moment. At the ideal distance, the tiger freezes, its body like a great stone, waiting with absolute patience. Suddenly, the tiger launches its attack, sprinting it up to 60 kilometers per hour, chasing the prey through the forest, dodging rocks and fallen roots. With a deadly bite, the deer drops instantly. No matter how strong the deer, it can't match the tiger's overwhelming force. The tiger drags the carcass to a secluded corner of the forest, out of sight from scavengers like gray bears or wolves. With fangs over 7 centimeters long, it begins its feast. A large deer provides enough energy for several days, but the tiger never lingers too long in one spot. Always alert, always on the move, maintaining its throne. As the undisputed king of the taiga, the tiger is not only a master on land, but also a skilled swimmer. Any animal crossing into its territory faces the deadliest threat. As the sun sets beyond the forest, the tiger raises its head, golden eyes scanning the horizon. Summer year, though intense with heat and fierce competition, is when life bursts forth in its fullest. But time is not on their side. In just a few months, these forests will once again be blanketed in deep snow, and the battle for survival will resume with new challenges. Everyone must seize this fleeting moment of abundance.